everybody, and welcome to the Everything is Fine, Nothing is Ruined podcast. I'm your host this week, Hassan, joined as always by co-host Tristan.
That is me.
And folks, today it's Tristan's topic, and we're here to talk about something called
Oh yeah,
Chainsaw Man. Is that right, Tristan? Chainsaw Man?
that is correct. Yes, we're here to talk about chainsaw.
Sorry, what is this? I've never heard of it.
You've never heard of? You were like one of the ones that the last episode was. You were the one to you told me to we did an episode on Chainsaw Man, and then you.
We did on this podcast.
Did. Yeah, there's the logo. It's right there. That's the title card.
Nah,
Okay, here's the problem.
No, nothing's coming up when I'm searching. In fact, when I search Chainsaw Man, it's just bringing up chainsaws.
Well, yeah, like a man.
Are you sure?
Okay,
I'm spelling it right. Like it's just chainsaw and then man, correct?
Space man.
Yeah, Tristan, I don't see anything about this. Did you just dream this?
No, I'm pretty sure I didn't dream this. It has to be a real thing. It has to be. I think anyway.
You're sure?
Deep down, I know that Chainsaw Man exists. I think. All I know is.
Sure, that's the case, Tristan, the podcaster.
I can't confirm nor deny it that Chainsaw Man exists. Here's the problem. At one point, I'm pretty sure Chainsaw Man existed. I think. Now, currently, it might not. There's a problem. I can explain this. Do you know what a time bubble is?
Yeah, I've watched Star Trek.
Okay. We're kind of like stuck in one spot, repeating things over and over again sort of situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a Groundhog Day situation. Yeah. Pretty sure that's what this is, but the time bubble is kind of popped on one side and like maybe extended out into a different time bubble.
Don't know.
Like a cancerous little like a little howdy do on the side of the time bubble, and I think that's the realm we find ourselves in currently.
Oh, okay, that's not good.
Because I'm pretty sure that episode doesn't exist. What's happening? Okay, pretty sure Chainsaw Man existed, and if it existed, it has just ended.
Okay, all right. Tristan, I'm going to tell you the truth. Chainsaw Man exists.
Oh, thank God. Oh, I wasn't ready to, for my brain to just go wandering into weird, strange places where it shall not wander, it should not. And yet, this isn't the same realm where you break down, you see the Great Cthulhu kind of situation, the whole melting of the face thing happens. You go crazy. You're in a straight jacket, and you're right in the runes in your white room. Yeah, that it's like bordering that line. Yeah. Okay. Great. So Chainsaw Man Part 2. That ended. Son. Chainsaw Man Part 2 ended.
And boy, people are not happy about it.
Wowee. I've seen the majority of people being like, this sucks. And then I see like one or two commenters who are just like, yeah, this is great. He got a happy ending. Good for him. And I'm like, I'm not. I have a hard time formulating an opinion on this. I'm pretty sure I hate it. I'm pretty sure.
I like what he's Tatsuki Fujimoto, the author,
yes,
gone for as an idea.
Yes.
That being, I kind of like the idea of
Mm.
it's like all just meaningless. That there's no true ending to this.
No.
There's no um big payoff kind of thing. I like
Mm.
the idea of Chainsaw Man, a series that has been very subversive in that way,
True.
kind of ending on a note like that. I just think the execution is not good. So
Correct.
I
Yeah.
have a lot of problems with it, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Me too. I'm pretty sure I hate it. Like I said. So here's the thing. I think Chainsaw Man, yes, has been subversive for a long time. That's been its thing for forever. And I do enjoy that it had the gall to end on what is effectively a dream sequence. Or like the awakening of a dream sequence. And that's great. I'm happy for Fujimoto in that he definitely did a thing. Now there is a problem, which is there's a lot of like dangling shit that we don't get answers to. But at the same time, he fixed it in a way. I shouldn't say fixed it. He wrote it in a way where that dangling shit doesn't actually matter because he effectively erased all that stuff.
But that's the problem. Is I think it's a cop out. So
yes,
an example of where I like some of what he did was when Nayuta, who Denji viewed as sort of a daughter,
kid sister daughter thing.
Sister,
yeah, exactly. Yes.
I don't think it's ever been put into words.
No.
I liked when they're at the sushi place and her head just shows up.
Yes,
and everybody was going, "Oh, there's got to be some meaning here. There's got to be, it's not the real her, or there's some way where she has powers that she's not dead." Blah blah blah. I liked that because I thought it was very interesting to have a scene where an important character that people thought was going to be pivotal just dies, just gets killed, because that felt more raw and real to the actual world. It kind of reminded me of in the seventh, I think it is, the last Harry Potter book, where a bunch of characters just end up dying in a battle. And people got very upset. Oh, why would she just kill these people? There was no grand scheme. And it's like, because it's a battle. Just people die.
We're all dying.
And I like that about the Nayuta part, but then there's a bunch of other things where it doesn't answer or acknowledge the meaning behind any of it, the imagery, like the forest that they woke up in where people were trees and that. It's like, okay, so what was that then?
What was that?
Right? You never answered it. You never gave a reason for why they were actually there, and just going, well, it all got erased. It's like, okay, but that's not, that doesn't actually answer or justify any of that.
Like they somehow, the way this kind of ends up, where like they effectively they don't totally end up in the aging devils realm again, right? No, I'm looking at it right now.
You mean the final chapter?
Yeah.
Or
final chapter? No. Yeah.
No,
they don't. Yeah, no, because he wakes up in the forest, but no, like when they do wake up in the forest, though, in the aging devil's forest, in which the idea there is that they're going to age forever, but like never actually aging, and they're effectively all immortal, and that's like the worst possible outcome. Like I don't know if there's any real metaphor to that. Like, you can definitely see an allegory to this whole thing because they are effectively cartoon characters who will not age unless you actually physically age them in with your writing and art and that kind of stuff. But also, these are characters who, Denji's never really gonna grow up. He's always gonna be this guy. And this is stated in like the second or third last chapter. I can't remember which one. When Yoru was just like, "Man, you are absolutely a true horn dog, like despicable human being kind of thing." And like, you're never gonna be different than this, are you? You're always gonna be this guy. And it's like, yeah, this is true. And like the aging devils, crazy realm of like immortal tree people does in a certain way represent that allegory. But I'm at a point where, especially with part 2, where I don't know if Fujimoto knows that. And that's okay, but that's okay. I'm actually fine with that because you can find meaning, in certain things that a writer has done without them actually knowing. It has happened to me personally with writers who I've spoken to. Quick aside, the podcast that it's not really a thing anymore, but the Thrilling Adventure Hour. They had an episode of, what was it? Beyond Belief. Not Beyond Belief. What was it called? The one with Paul Tompkins and Janet Brewster. Or Patrick Brewster.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it was the Franken City Doyle, the one with the ghost hunters kind of thing. They're drunk all the time. But there's a character who spoke in a very quick way, like very specifically, like was meant to be very short sentence kind of guy and this sort of thing. And his name was Kurt. And I got to that point, and I was like, "Oh, it's a fun little like literary joke." And so I tweeted that at the creator, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't, but yeah, okay." So that shit happens. Where like sometimes you find meaning in a thing the writer didn't intend to, and they go like, "Oh, cool, it's a happy accident." But I don't know if Fujimoto has ever acknowledged anything dealing with that.
Part 2 definitely feels like he had an idea, and then about halfway through, I'm not going to pretend like I know what happened or could even guess what happened, but it definitely feels like halfway through, he just kind of lost the idea and just started to have cool stuff in it, interesting twists and turns and events, but not necessarily actually serving a grander plot and a grander story. And just, okay, I just want to have this scene happen because I have this idea for something.
Like for instance, a great underutilized character is Fumiko Mifune, the girl whose power, her devil power is she cloned herself a bunch of times, and like she comes up multiple times, and it's just like, is this because you just don't want to draw another person and introduce a new character so late in the manga, or like what? There's a meaning here, and like, but you're not using her to any real good effect. Like, yes, we've seen her die a couple times, and that's supposed to be shocking when she comes back. Like, yeah, totally. But it's just like, I don't. Where's the? I guess in a way you don't need that kind of follow up, the kind of even follow through on a character when you're doing a story like Chainsaw Man, where it is raw and more real feeling. So sometimes people just fall to the wayside. But we're not. I don't know. It just feels a little hollow.
It definitely feels like again, this is what it feels like. Who knows if this is accurate, the truth, external factors, maybe he had his own ideas on stuff, but his editor or just Shueisha, the publisher, had their own ideas, desires. I no idea. But the thing it feels like is halfway through, he probably should have taken a hiatus, done a couple of one shots, got sort of some of the like story ideas he maybe wanted to put down and explore out there, but that like maybe shouldn't have been in Chainsaw Man kind of thing, like Fumiko, where I've got this idea about somebody who can just create a bunch of clones, and I kind of want to explore some stuff about what that's like when they just sort of have their clones die over and over, blah blah blah.
Also forgot that her powers came from the STD devil. Anyway, go on.
yeah, but like I don't know, like maybe he should have gone on hiatus, or he should have like dropped Chainsaw Man down to say a instead of a weekly, a monthly issue, and then started up a like Chainsaw Man : side stories, and he could have just written a bunch of side stories with some of this stuff and explored it while also working. Like I feel like I'm reminded a bit of Kojima, where he eventually didn't want to do more Metal Gear Solids, and Konami just said, no, you have to. And so he essentially went, okay, well, I'm just going to start to throw away a lot of the like story and continuity or what the games have been, because I have this thing I want to do, and it doesn't suit Metal Gear Solid very well. So I'm just gonna do my own thing. I'll just I will reshape Metal Gear so this other thing I want to do gets there. And that's how I feel about the second half of Chainsaw Man, is just Fujimoto had a bunch of things he wanted to do. They didn't necessarily suit, like, they fit in the world of Chainsaw Man. They didn't fit in the specific story of Denji and what was happening. And it just feels like, I wonder if the pressures from the publisher or whatever, to a certain extent, I have to wonder, is the ending him just sort of being frustrated and basically giving a middle finger to his publisher and just going, you know what, I'm exhausted, or I'm again just frustrated, I want to do something with this. Shueisha, you're saying no, you can't go down this path, you can't do this thing, blah blah blah, exactly. Oh, you're telling me I need to write in this way to make sure it stays popular or whatever. Well, fine, I'm just going to end this thing in this weird way and I'm done. I could see that being a thing here.
Yeah, I agree. Like, this feels like okay, I feel as if the original ending of Chainsaw Man Part 1 was the better ending, because like you get this kind of, it's open ended of course, but like okay, Chainsaw Man goes on, but you got an ending to this total story where he is devouring the control demon and this kind of stuff, and it's working out this way, and it's weird and grotesque and raw and strange, all these fun synonyms, and I just felt like that would have been a better way to stop Denji's specific story. And if you wanted to still tell stories within the world of Chainsaw Man, there are plenty of ways to do that. Like, I almost feel like part 2 of Chainsaw Man is a lot more like Asa's story anyway.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like, Denji doesn't even come in until like later on in those chapters. So why tiptoe around it? Like, it's okay to, like, if you brought him in briefly or like near the end or something like that, and he was like, yeah, I think that'd be fine. But effectively, this is not Denji's story, and Denji doesn't do any real progression in this one. He still remains the kind of like the same person, and it's weird because by the end of part 1 of Chainsaw Man, I feel as if his character did actually change into a more mature person who was like, I'm doing this because it's the right thing to do. Yes, it kind of fucks up the things that I wanted in life, but I have to do it this way because if I don't, the world's going to fall into ruin. And this solves a lot of the problems. Which is devouring the control devil piece by piece as he eats a person. So, you know. Great times. So that's fine. But then we move, like, I kind of felt like, okay, the right move here, especially when you first start the chapter, like the first like little bit of Chainsaw Man Part 2 up, and it's a lot more about Asamitaka. And it's just like, oh, this is her whole thing where she's now possessed by the war devil, and it's about her struggle against this thing, trying to make this work for her. She's kind of like Chainsaw Man in a way, except for this thing takes control of her a lot more than Pochita ever did for Denji. So it's between Asa and Yoru, and they're kind of battling internally. And even if they brought Denji in, like, it still felt like Asa's story for a bit, and then it kind of hit a middle point where Denji took over almost entirely, and Asa fell to the wayside. And when they did that, I sort of lost interest because they had built up all these other characters that Asa was more involved with, and Denji was as well, but Denji was kind of a straggler onto her story. But then Denji was like, I am, like, when they figured out he is Chainsaw Man, period, the guy, and this is became less of a story about, worshipping Chainsaw Man and seeing him as this venerated god. And instead, they're like, okay, he exists, and now we need to try and kill him, so we can try and make sure our version of Chainsaw Man is the one, pure, real one. And that's interesting, and I think that's a fun story to tell. But again, they were already telling this whole thing with Asa, and then it just slams in this point where, like, you just drop that whole shit away until she comes back for a few little things here or there, and then it's more so about her fighting Denji, but not Asa, but Yoru. So she's still having the internal struggle. It's like, okay, it's sort of coming through, it's sort of working, but not totally working. Nothing in this part like totally perfectly works. And it's really unfortunate considering how many great scenes and how many great plot lines there were in the first one, in the first part, that did work really well. And when they get dropped, it's like because the character dies or whatever, it doesn't feel unsatisfying in the first part because it's like you don't see it coming, but you understand right away, like, oh, okay, well, this person's dead now. I guess we're not following through on this. Totally understandable. We had a whole thing we were building up, but this is where it ends. So now we gotta deal with the fallout of this. And this is where part 2 starts kind of going. Like, yeah, we're gonna go for the same feeling, but in a bigger, more grand scheme of things. And then it doesn't, especially by the end of it. So
yeah, I mean, there's still some interesting big moments, like when
there are, yes.
War Devil starts using contracts with the United States.
Yeah, it turns out the War Devil's in love with the US.
It's like, Detroit Punch or something, and just all the people of Detroit are dead as a result.
Yes.
Okay, that's because part 1 had that where it was like 1 in 10 people in Japan or whatever it was, died from this contract. Or was it 1 in 10 in America? I forget what it was, but when the gun devil showed up,
it was in America. Yes,
it was and Control Devil uses that. You're like, 1 in 10. Okay, that's a lot of people, but the idea of just no, this is just Detroit. It's just gone. I'm literally using the people of Detroit to power this attack. It's a cool idea.
It's really cool. Yeah,
but there's no payoff from it. There's no callback to it. There's no real reason for it to happen other than, well, that was a cool moment.
Mm-hmm. And?
Yeah, and?
Yeah. It's like, okay, I understand. Okay. In a way, what Fujimoto did there was basically escalate the situation using the idea of the War Devil, who is in Japan, currently drawing power from the most warlike nation the world has ever seen, which is the United States of America.
Are you sure? They're the good guys, Tristan.
They can claim that all they want. But I think Japan would definitely say otherwise from about 70 or 80 years ago.
Not like Japan were the good guys either. Then.
No, they definitely weren't.
Certainly weren't deserving of 2 hits, but
Point is, that's the whole. Anyway, point is, the War Devil realizing that like she is in love with the United States, and effectively using the powers of the United States to like draw contracts and fight Denji, fight Chainsaw Man on like even footing, is really good. But like, okay, the whole thing with Chainsaw Man eating devils to make them not exist anymore. Now, if I recall correctly, because I haven't read the first part in a long time, but the first part does bring that up a little bit, like near the end. Correct? Because that's how he, that's how they figure out, that's how he defeats the Control Devil. But part 2, the Control Devil's kind of back. We don't really ever figure out how Nayuta is around, because she looks the exact same as Makima, but with black hair, and she's young. And it's just like, how did you come about? Like, come about if she's not there, but you have the Control Devil powers kind of thing. But like this like weird chain power now. I don't know. It's not really explained very well. Then Nayuta dies, and it's a whole like, okay, where do you take that? And it's never really brought up near the end of the Denji's extremely distraught about that, and it's never brought back up until the very end when the dream sequence thing happens, and he wakes up, or is he? I don't fucking know. In this different world, time bubble, weird shenanigans. I don't.
So
it's also unclear how the eating devils thing really actually works. So
I don't know. So I don't know if you've seen this. There are people online who are sure, a part 3 is going to happen.
Okay.
It's definitely not. It just isn't.
Here's the thing. I wouldn't put it past him. However, I think you're right. I would say a part 3 is not going to happen. I almost, okay. Not to get too far into the weeds with like conspiracy theory shit, but there are people who are kind of like, okay, this is actually not the end. It's not a part 3 we're getting, but we are getting like another chapter or 2, something like that, to really like actually wrap it up.
So that wouldn't shock me, right?
No.
If some point down the road he decides, because again, like let's say maybe he's angry at Shueisha or frustrated, or maybe he just got tired. I mean, to be clear,
I think that's
writing
what happened,
weekly manga is exhausting. There's a reason a lot of mangaka die pretty young.
Yes. So I do not blame him at all for ending this thing. Just to make this clear, but end it. I get it.
I wouldn't be shocked if 6 to 8 months or a couple of years down the road or whatever, he goes, "Oh, you know what? Putting out X number of chapters," and I'm like, I won't say retconning the ending, but actually Denji realizes, no, this is Pochita trying to show him a dream, and he says, no, screw that, and he fights back, and hey, here I'm answering a bunch of these things. That wouldn't surprise me, but there is no way there is some 6 months from now, part 3, and we get another 100 chapters or whatever.
No.
You wouldn't do that. You would not release something knowing people weren't going to like it and would be upset and would damage your merchandise sales, your anime viewership. Like, if you're Shueisha, you don't do that. You don't go, yeah, you're right, Fujimoto. That would be sick to do this. Convince everybody this happens. And then they're like, oh man, this is awesome. Because you're like, do you realize how much money we've lost? No, we're not doing that.
Piss it away, basically. Yes, exactly.
It's people cannot accept bad endings, right?
No.
We saw it with Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah.
We saw it with whatever the most recent final season of Stranger Things was.
Season 5.
Well, if you look at the clock, this indicates
there are
there's
so many clues. No, it's not.
9th or 11th episode, whatever it is.
It'll air during the Super Bowl halftime show. Kind of shit. Didn't.
That one I like, because it's like, these episodes are like 2 hours long. What are you talking about? It can't air during the halftime. Yeah, we're taking a 2-hour halftime show for this.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Game is going to end at 2 a.m. Don't worry.
That honestly wouldn't surprise me. Either way, it's. I don't like these conspiracy theories, but there is the conspiracy theory that this is not the actual end, but it might. He might shadow drop another chapter, or I think it'd be okay. I think it would be a very Chainsaw Man thing to do, which is because he barely announced the ending. He said oh, it's ending next week, and he was like, we're like, what do you mean? The next chapter's the end, and it's like, you could have told us, given your audience a little more heads up. I'm looking at you, my Jessup darling, who it's like, hey, in 5 chapters, we're done with this. It's like, oh, cool. You get a little time to be like, okay, what, okay, yeah, let's wrap these things up. You get a little time as an audience to be like, okay, it's happening. It's gonna come soon, and then when it hits, even if it's bad, it's like it's an ending. It was happening. We know that. But when you're like, next week, fucking done, it's just like, okay, great. Oh boy, and it's like that chapter better blow everything into the water when you drop it like that. So it would be very Chainsaw Man for him to be like, hey, next week is the last chapter. And then a week after that is the actual last chapter. However, the only way that actually works, personally, is if he doesn't ever announce the ending and just, in one chapter, he goes the end. And I was like, whoa, wait, hold on. You didn't tell us, you didn't say anything about this ending. What the fuck? And then release another chapter next week. It's like, oh, okay. We get it. This whole thing was a fucking fake out, but in a Chainsaw Man kind of way. Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. That would be one thing. But yeah, the The real problem is, like, as much as I want to believe in this conspiracy theory, and I would love for the conspiracy theory to be that there's a third part, but not in this way. If Chainsaw Man goes on, I want Chainsaw Man to not be a big Chainsaw Man. I love this world. This world is amazing. I would like look again. I going on with like Asa's story. I thought that was brilliant. Like I thought like that would have been a cool twist. Like, okay, Denji's occasionally here, maybe. This is all about Asa, and like we barely ever see Chainsaw Man until the like halfway mark of the Chainsaw Man Part 2 arc. So like, so yeah. I think if you're going to do more, like if Fujimoto was going to do more Chainsaw Man, I would like it to be about somebody else. But I don't really need it to be about Chainsaw Man per se. But what do you even call the manga at that point? Because everybody's so used to the Chainsaw Man universe.
Yeah, I don't know. I will be interested to see what, because he's obviously done other works. He had Fire Punch. Yeah, that only ran for I think around a year and a half, or just shy of 2 years. God, something like that. Say, April 2016 to January 18, so a little over 2.5 years.
Yeah.
But other than that, he hasn't necessarily had other big successes, right? But he has done several one-shots, even during Chainsaw Man's run. So I do have to wonder, is he interested in doing more Chainsaw Man, or does he want to go off and write other stuff, whether it's in the same style, whether he wants to do something completely different. I will say, unlike say Game of Thrones, where I've been very hesitant to engage with any additional media they've put out. So House of the Dragon, I didn't watch that because while I heard season 1 was good, season 2 most people seem to go, it's kind of meh, so I just haven't bothered. And I had the Seven Kingdoms. People really seem to like it.
Heard it's really good, yes.
And I might actually bother watching that one.
It's been just a really good guy. Just a really nice dude. That's what I've heard. He's just like he's a knight, and he just really believes in being a knight. Like, that's unique for Game of Thrones.
But just in general, because I think ultimately the difference between the two is that there was 7 seasons of Game of Thrones.
I think so.
That's right.
Yes, that's right.
And at a minimum, the last 2 seasons were just not particularly enjoyable. I recall that not even the last season, but the season before, you could tell they were starting to do stuff around killing off certain characters or trying to kind of have conclusions to certain story beats or regions of the world, whatever it was, going, well, we need to wrap stuff up here so that we can just focus on the stuff going on over here. Chainsaw Man was never doing that, as we've highlighted. There's a lot of questions, a lot of unanswered things. But I think the difference between the two is even in the lead up to this sort of frustrating ending, disappointing ending, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, disappointing.
There was a lot of interesting novel stuff happening. There were intriguing developments with the characters. And so
yes,
I'll read what Tatsuki Fujimoto does next. I want to see him continue writing, to continue to do other stuff, quite frankly. If he does more Chainsaw Man, I'll probably read it, but I think even if he was to make more Chainsaw Man and it was really good Chainsaw Man, I'd be a little bit disappointed in that, because as a manga, it's been going since 2018. So 8 years. I've read enough Chainsaw Man at this point. I want to see other stuff in different worlds. And I hope that the backlash to this does not leave him feeling, oh, I don't want to write any more stuff.
Yeah.
Because I know, for example,
he's very good.
The author of Soul Eater and Fire Force has effectively retired from doing manga. They're just focused on sort of producing the anime and stuff like that.
Sure.
And I don't want to see that for Fujimoto. I'd like to, even if it's, hey, I made enough money, I don't want to do another weekly series, but you know, I'll punt out a like 30-40 page one shot once a year. Great. I'll read that. I'll enjoy that. Yeah, just you know, relax, doodle around, do your thing that you feel good and happy about, and just put that out there.
Alternatively, okay, here's what I think my favorite idea would be for specifically Fujimoto, because I know being a mangaka like is draining. Ever, one of the more successful things right now, I can't remember what they're referring to themselves as, but one, like the guy who created One Punch Man, and I can't remember who his writing partner, his drawing partner is, because one is a great writer, but his art was always kind of lackluster. He actually got a little better over time, and he was drawing the hell out of everything he could, but of course, obviously, he's not like professional quality.
Yusuke Murata
was
the illustrator for the manga.
Yeah, the I Shield 21 guy. Yeah, so like they joined forces, and that's why like the One Punch Man manga looks the way it does now, which is like crazy good. But beyond that, they've also introduced other properties. They've done other stories. I've heard a lot of good things about Versus right now, stuff like that. And it's like, I think Fujimoto may want to look into sharing the limelight, because I mean, like, I'm not really sure where his preference lies. I think he's a great writer, and actually, I like his art a lot. I think I love Fujimoto's art more than some. It's got, I know it has like the weird, like little like blocky aesthetic to it, but I think that really works for what he goes for. But if you know, making manga is the kind of thing that is so taxing in this case, and it definitely is, like, without a doubt, it is a very taxing thing to do, to make a comic by yourself, writing, drawing, I mean, editing. There's also the screen tones they do for manga. Like, it's not, or if you can do like the actual coloring and that kind of stuff.
Well, and it's not just by yourself too, right? Most of them have assistants, and it's also managing assistants,
that
and
as
their
well.
schedules and their pay.
Yeah, he's a boss.
You're also having to generally consult on, you know, mangas and CD recordings and all this stuff. You know, I'd like most of them, when they have something get big, it's like, yeah, I'm working 80 hours a week.
Yeah, exactly. So like that's extremely shitty to put that all in one person. And like that's the case with being a big time mangaka means. So if he had somebody to share that you know, the limelight, share the spotlight with, maybe that would be the way to go. And I mean, it's a very Western comics thing to do. Is like, hey, you have an artist and you have a writer, and they share the equal sway in the book and how it moves and the art and the story, that kind of stuff. So yeah,
it's definitely becoming more common, though. There's still not too many of those situations with something that gets I would say truly big. The duo that did Bakuman as well as Death Note, that's obviously an example. Frieren is another one where that's a duo.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Although I don't think it's ever been fully clear what the breakdown between the two is. If one is specifically artist, one is just a writer, or if they both do both roles. But some smaller stuff, I would say. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but definitely I've seen plenty of one shots or plenty of limited series where, hey, this maybe only has 4 to 5 chapters. I certainly notice more and more that there are mangas where, one person's a writer, one person is the actual artist. So I definitely see that growing, and not shocked because, 2 people is a lot easier to manage that workload with.
Yeah, true. I mean, that's just it. Like, sharing the load like that might alleviate some of the pressures of being a mangaka. I'm shocked that there aren't more mangakas that do that, and like actually like make it as a 2-person team. And again, that's not discounting the assistants and the other people that work on the manga. I'm just saying that, like, 2 people writing the full show, I think that might be beneficial to the entirety of that industry, because I don't hear of the same burnout, like the same level of burnout, at least anyway, in American comics. Like, I know it still happens. Yeah. I know it's definitely still a thing. Like, the burnout is a real fucking bitch in comics in general. But it's not like the killer like it is in manga. In Western comics, if you burn out a little bit, it's like, oh, cool, no worries. You take a break, we chill. Don't worry about it. You have somebody else to fall back on. If you need to, alleviate some of that pressure. If you're the writer, let's say, and you're burning out, maybe your editor can pick up the slack a little bit, or like perhaps your artist could like work on that, or you just bring in someone else who's going to do a side story or whatever. No issue. But in manga, it's like, okay, no, if you must produce a chapter on deadline no matter what, and fuck you if you don't. And if you don't produce a chapter on deadline, the people are usually pretty, understanding, but they will say the people will be very upset with you. You don't want to disappoint your fans, right? And like, this is kind of why I think Fujimoto, I'm pretty sure, ended Chainsaw Man the way he did. Just be like, fuck it, I'm done. Because like, if I was under that much pressure, like, because Chainsaw Man is probably one of the biggest manga right now. And if you're under that much pressure to produce the manga that everybody's reading every week or so, then you're going to want to stop at some point, because it's going to kill you. And it's very much a profession that will kill you. It's done it to plenty of manga creators out there. Like, you can literally point to some of the biggest manga creators out there that have died of this shit. Like, Kentaro Miura effectively like did himself in that way. Like, he had other health issues as well, but like, he just didn't stop. So, the guy who did Vagabond, he didn't pass away or anything, but like, he was drawing Vagabond. Like, Vagabond is one of the most beautiful pieces of comic ever. And he like drew the hell out of every damn page. And he got to a certain point where it's just like, this is unsustainable. I'm done. Because I am killing myself with this work. And it's like, you either basically see yourself like leave the industry, like full on crash out, die, or you stop the thing you're doing and move on to something a little more simpler or a little more passionate, you know? So Fujimoto ending the Chainsaw Man the way he did, I think that makes absolute sense from a human standpoint. So, yeah. Can't blame the guy.
No. I just hope that he still has a passion and interest in continuing to create manga.
I do too.
We still at least occasionally get stuff out of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should actually discuss the actual ending a little bit because, like, just to briefly, he's about to basically, okay, here's where it gets muddy because it's chapter 232 is where this ends. Chapter 231 is Goodbye Pochita, where Pochita's just like, oh, hey, Denji, we got eaten by a devil. And he's like, what? That's crazy. What do we do now? And Pochita's like, I'm just going to cease to exist. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to eat myself. Oh, okay, Pochita, that's fucking weird, dude. You sure you don't want to help? We got eaten by a devil. But like, there's no, like in the previous chapter, the way that chapter ends is he's being attacked by a devil. And he's like basically like, yeah, he's revving up his chainsaw powers. He yells, if you're gonna get in our way, then dash, how's it go again? Is what he says. But the devil looks like he's gonna punch him to death. Not so much eat him. I don't know. It's extremely jarring, the disconnect between like, oh, we're doing this, and then he was eaten. And I was like, oh, okay. And then the ending actually happens. So Pochita eats himself, and then you have the whole thing where he wakes up in the cabin that he was in the first chapter of Chainsaw Man ever. And like Pochita's not there. He still has his missing eye, all this stuff, blah blah blah. He goes on a hunt. He dies. Power comes back. Okay, Power's here again. She's naked and killing demons and fantastic. That's great. She finds Denji and revives him and basically makes him her thrall via blood devil magic kind of stuff. The contract. And then Makima, no sword. Nayuta comes back, and it's like, okay, this is where it gets weird. For some reason, I'm cool with Power coming back, but if you're gonna bring back a control devil person, why is it not Makima? Which is why we have so many conspiracy theories about this.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is because the idea is, well, if Chainsaw Devil never existed, to be this foil to these more powerful demons, then they never really get to exist. So that's my interpretation of some of it is, but because Pochita eats himself, it erases Chainsaw Devil from ever existing,
right?
Which then sort of undoes and removes a lot of the more powerful demons.
Right, but I don't think we don't really even get to see that so much because there's no real that makes as much sense as anything else. I'll be honest, because we don't really know the total logic behind the way this power works. Or how eating yourself as the Chainsaw Devil would make this work. The fact that the Chainsaw Devil can eat things and make them not exist is also fucking wackadoodle. Let's be honest. This
That's
power.
That's just how chainsaws work, Tristan.
Doesn't. That's not how a chainsaw works.
No, you just don't remember because the chainsaw took away your ability to remember that.
I see. The point is, like, even if that was the case, which what he said sound with, like, basically the more powerful devils can't exist. Nayuta is effectively the new control devil, but she only existed because Makima got eaten, and some of that flesh still kind of like stuck around him and became Nayuta, if I'm recalling correctly. Or maybe I'm just adding my own conjecture in there. I think that's what I'm doing, actually.
I mean, I don't think we ever got an explanation of why Nayuta still existed.
Yeah.
Or the control devil still existed as Nayuta.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we ever really got a full explanation. My thought is that basically she is kind of like formed from a piece of the control devil into this thing now, which is Nayuta. And like Denji just was like, oh well, you know, this is good enough, I guess. Because Denji just can't let go. That's a big part of his character. But like then you have, so it's like Nayuta comes back. Okay, this is weird and whatever, I guess. But she's got the control devil thing, but she doesn't really. Like, I don't think she's like, she doesn't control anybody per se. She's just the boss of the devil hunters, but she's a 12-year-old girl. Whatever. And then like Denji bumps into Asa and stops her from crushing Bucky, which is great. Hey, yeah, keep Bucky around, the little headless chicken like turkey thing. That's fine. No, that's hey, yeah. That's cool. And then she's like, thank you, Chainsaw Man. It's just like, yeah, okay, cool, great. And then they this part ways, and fuck, what is this?
It's so stupid. I love it.
It's really stupid. I do like that part, but like the rest of it is just like, it just adds. It's an ending that provides more questions than answers. It's just like you can't end this way. Like. If you end your story with a question, it has to be a damn good one, and not why would you do this? Like the question should be like, oh, could this have happened? Like, are you talking about this thing? Like, oh, okay, and like maybe like there's a level of like the audience kind of gets it. But this is ham-fisted enough where, you know, there's nothing to not get here. It's just a weird like coffee shop AU happy ending thing. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
but it's not that happy. The worst thing is it's not that happy. It's like happy enough. Like, what is this? I don't know, man. Like I'm on the side of everybody who's just like, why the fuck, dude? Why did you do this?
Yeah.
Why would you? But at the same time,
I don't know. Maybe someday we'll get an answer to what happened. Unfortunately, Fujimoto's
he's very
mangaka who I don't say recluse, but you know, doesn't want to have a public sort of presence.
Yeah, sure. Don't blame him.
You know, keeps how he looks private. You know, there's no video interviews with him, that sort of stuff. I can't blame him.
Yeah, I respect it.
So, you know, I wonder if he'll ever go out there and talk on the record about why this happened, or if he's kind of just like, I don't care. I do my things my way, and you know, just is what it is. The rest of you just have to live with it.
Yeah, I expect it's more so that just whatever. It's just the ending. Sorry, there's not getting more of it. Too bad. We have to accept that that's the ending. It sucks, and like I think this story deserved a better ending. I'm not gonna say we as the audience deserve a better ending, because we don't deserve shit. We're just reading this. The story deserves a better ending. But I mean, we got what we got. There's no changing it.
Yep.
Unless the conspiracy theory where he drops a brand new chapters pretty soon is true, but then I doubt that. Highly doubt that.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
anyways, we should start wrapping up. So was there anything else you want to discuss?
No. I mean, like, we covered all things. Like, I want to see more of what Fujimoto does. Like, when the Golden Kamuy guy jumped on doing his like weird fucking hockey thing, I read that for a bit. That's pretty good. That's fun. Honestly, yeah. Back into Dogs Red. It's just, you know, like, they're hockey. What can I say?
Yeah, but that's why, you know,
it shouts at Sidney Crosby.
If Fujimoto decides, yeah, I want to do a sports manga X, I'd be there for it.
Honestly, that'd be kind of cool.
I might not, stick with it long term, because I think that was also the problem with Dogs Red. Is, this is neat. I don't want an entire series about this, though. I'm just not that into hockey is kind of the problem.
My problem was, so I like hockey enough, and I want to read a hockey manga. My problem was the character was so reticent against hockey, and I was like, you can't do these things! My Canadian blood boils! Why?
But, if Fujimoto wants to put out some 5-chapter sports thing, I'd be there for it. I don't care what the sport is. I'll read about it.
Yeah, I'd be curious what he does next. That's the thing. Fujimoto, great writer. I just need to see what he's doing next and see what if it's going to be, my kind of thing. That's it.
Yeah. Anyway. Alrighty. Well, then, why don't you tell people where to find us?
Yeah. You should go to our Blue Sky account, was at EIFNAR. Yell at us there about how much you like or did not like the Chainsaw Man ending. Why not? Why or why not did you like it? Or why or why not did you not like it? I have a suspicion that people will just be like, it was bad. And I'd be like, yeah, bro. Yeah. With you. Yeah. You should also go to our Spotify and iTunes pages. Enjoy the show. If you want to go to our YouTube channel and like and subscribe there, push buttons until your life feels good again, because the Chainsaw Man ending made you sad, even though we got a happy ending. But it was kind of a bummer because we didn't get any more depressing stuff. It's a weird situation. Anyway, share the episode with your friends. Also, if you wouldn't mind just going to our friends at DJDane.com. Let's go to this music, DJDane.com. Listen to his great tunes and just eat him. He needs it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's a devil, so you probably need to, stop him.
He needs it. He needs something. just eat him. Anyway, that's it for our show. Tune in next time for another X2Bait episode of Everything is Fine Is Ruined. See ya.
See ya.
Say it.